Yeah, what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Conavi JCA Sports on all the social media platform, and also under the Star Six Media app. We do have a good show for you today. We do have a special guest on our show. My boy Greeny Daniel Greenberg will be live on the show. He'll be copping on pretty soon. Give us a little talk about the Bulls, the Bears, giving a little background on his perspective on what he sees or what he's going to see for the beloved Chicago Bears and also the regular season for the Chicago Bulls. The link, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is on the comment section. You guys can join in at any time or join in once Greeny is done with our conversation or done with the interview with Greeny. Anytime, any place, but the link is on the bio right here on the comment section. Are, if you guys want to join us or join us on the comment section, join us on here. Join us. Let's talk about our Bears, which we have a lot to talk about. The Chicago Bears. Tyson Bagent looked the part, right, ladies and gentlemen. He looked the part. He definitely. How should I say this? He looked like he knew how to control the offense, right? He looked like he was one of the guys that were just there and just basically just showed up, and no one was like, "Hey, don't worry about what I can do." That and also the running game helped him out. Let's be completely 100% honest here. The the running game helped him out immensely. Dante Freeman just had a banger of a game. So much so that in like 3 leagues that I had him, I only started him in one and benched them in the rest. And the 33, 40 points that he gave me in most of the leagues would just look so good on my bench this past weekend. So that was that. But yeah, outside of that, just outside of that, back to the Chicago Bears. It just looked like Tyson Bagent just fit the part. He looked the part. He looked like he knew what he was doing. Although it was a lot of sideways passing, a lot of screen passes and whatnot, we really didn't see him expand the field as much with his throwing downfield. We may or may not get to see that on Sunday. We hope so because we still need a lot to know about Tyson Bagent and what the Bears have in him, whether if he's going to be a future starter for the Chicago Bears or is he going to be a backup quarterback. Right now, he just looks the part as a backup quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Right now, he looks the part. Right now, he just looks like he's making it a conversation what he is supposed to do for the Chicago Bears, make it into a conversation that there is somebody behind Justin Fields to make him a little bit uncomfortable, but also at the same time to pick up his performance in being and playing quarterback. And I think that's what he is supposed to do, and that's what he's brought in to do, is having that conversation. At least for right now, it's only one game. I 100% get it. I 100% see it. I get it. We're not supposed to be too excited. I know a lot of people got excited to see him over the preseason this past preseason, and everybody kind of wanted him to take a look out for him and the vanilla defense. He's yada yada yada, so on and so forth. You can say whatever you want to say, but Tyson Bagent, for the most part, looked the part as a quarterback for the Chicago Bears and is making this very uncomfortable, at least for one game, for our boy Justin Fields for a QB1 position. Now, I'm not going to be uncomfortable with this interview right now, who I'm about to bring in, because me and Green, we go way back, starting our career in this radio broadcast together, and this is going to be fun. It's been a while since we spoke to Greeny, and as I bring him in, my boy, my guy, Danny Greenberg, boy, Greeny, man, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hi, man. I'm just here chilling, excited. I'm on like on a sports high because you know me, man. Not only football but soccer and all my teams over the weekend just won. The Bears won. My soccer teams won. I held my soccer team won yesterday in the Champions League. So I'm on like on a sports high right now, as high as it's ever been in years, at least. So how about you,
That's
man?
good.
How's
That's
everything
good.
been? First and foremost.
Yeah, it's been good. Bulls regular season opener tonight, so
Yeah.
excited for that. We have good Bears win, so right now good vibes in the air.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what it is. I mean, Daniel Greenberg, guys, if you don't follow him on Twitter or on X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, you do follow him. Dude. This guy has been on almost every social media platform. And you think about the Bears season, guy, the Chicago Bears, Bulls, the diehards. Like you follow, they just share his posts almost on a daily, and in the kind of way, like I feel like I always see you in their post week in and week out, Greeny man. Like, so I know you're doing it big there, but make sure you guys follow him at Shy Sports Update. This guy, he knows what he's talking about. He's probably in the intel, but he just doesn't want to tell us, which is all good. It's all good. He's keeping it to himself, man. But us get right into it, man. I started talking about Tyson Bagent in the beginning of the show, man. How do you feel about Tyson Bagent? How did you feel after his first performance on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought he had a good game. He was in control, made smart decisions, didn't have any fumbles or interceptions, which is always good. Yeah, I thought he had a good game, but it wasn't something that was like that he did that was really well. It was more of they let the game come to him. They ran the ball a lot, which was really good. So overall, like I said, I thought he had a really good game.
And it was a lot of. I mean, we saw something that we kind of really wanted to see with Justin Fields, anyways. A quarterback to control the game, a quarterback that knows what he's doing back there. And we got that from Tyson Bagent. Now it was a lot of sideways passing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of not too many big plays down the field, which wasn't needed. Like you said, the running game had a great game, but do you feel, at least for one game, Greeny, is he making it into somewhat of a conversation about who is going to be QB1 for the future?
No, I'm very
Like
Justin
that,
Fields.
huh?
Yeah, Fields for me is still quarterback number one. I mean, Bagent, he had a good start, and he probably earned himself several more years in the NFL based off that start alone. But that's why you always need a backup quarterback, and in
Yeah.
the NFL, teams are also always searching for backup quarterbacks. Um, like I said, he had a good game. I'm excited to see now there is film on him. I'm excited to see what happens Sunday night. Prime time. It's not a noon game, so I'm very interested to see how he plays.
Yeah, definitely. Under the lights for Tyson Bagent, first time that not only, obviously we're going to see another game of him, but now this time the whole entire America is going to watch this
Yep.
game. The only game that's going to be on at nighttime against the Los Angeles Chargers team. That's which it's kind of a toss up game, Greeny, whether you think about it. Give it the talent that's over there in Los Angeles, it's still of a toss up game. So, are you? What are you expecting from Tyson this game? Like, do you want to see kind of the same thing, or you want to see something different from him?
Yeah, the Chargers for me, like you said, they're kind of an up and down team, but they have more talent than the Raiders. I think the biggest key for this game is going to be the offensive line because the Chargers they got Boza, you got Khalil Mack. Their defense is pretty good, but I want to see more of getting Tyson out of the pocket because he can run. I mean he's not as
Yeah.
fast as Justin Fields, but he's very athletic, good passer. So I kind of want to see more of the bootleg and also run the ball. Make sure the defensive line is not set, get them tired, and that opens up the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, sideways football is what we saw on Sunday last week, right? But it was called for simply because the running game was just outstanding. Deonta Foreman looked
Yeah.
like he was just free, loose, running like a beast, hurtling over people. Evans, who they just re-signed a couple weeks ago off the practice squad, and now as a backup role because of the running back situation, also had a game too as well. So we want to see something more different now. We want to see if he can have this arm, this big arm, because I don't think we saw it. Definitely not on Sunday. I want to see something different. But let's just play the hypothetical role, right? Let's say Tyson Bagent does have another good game. Maybe throws for over 200 plus yards, 210, I mean 210, 220, 230, maybe a couple more touchdowns.
Mhm.
Does he now does he make the QB1 conversation just a tad bit more difficult?
I don't know. Like for me, I believe Justin Fields is a generational talent. I think
Okay.
he is a fantastic quarterback. He just has to have the right pieces around him, the players, but also the coaching staff. I think Tyson Bagent is a very good backup quarterback. Now, can he play himself into a starting quarterback battle? Possibly. I mean, he beat out PJ Walker in training camp, and PJ
Yep.
Walker has been starting for the Cleveland Browns. So, you know, it's always good to have a competition. I'm all for having a really good competition. And that's why I said I'm very interested to see what happens on Sunday night. Primetime football. The Chargers are not a bad team. They have a really good defensive line. Let's see how he plays. But for me, right now, there's not even a 1% chance that there is a competition. Now, could that change after Sunday night football? Possibly, but as of right now, Justin Fields is still number one guy.
The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Under the Star Six Media Productions, we have a special guest, Daniel Greenberg. You can follow him on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call him, at Shy Sport Update. Greeny, you and I had a lot of debates when we were back in IMS and talking about what we want to see from the Chicago Bears and also from the Chicago Bulls too as well. Like you mentioned earlier, the season started today, right? The
Mhm.
regular season starts kind of a bit early, man. We're already October 25th and we're already game one of game 82. But Greeny, man, are you excited for this upcoming Bulls season? Like, does anything intrigue you to be happy about the Chicago Bulls this season?
So it's funny because this is the first time, I guess, in my lifetime that I've actually been very nervous for a Bulls season. And here's why: because everyone in the NBA wants the Bulls to be really bad. So then they can, in the trade deadline, Zach Levine gets traded, DeMar gets traded, Caruso gets traded. And the Bulls are relying heavily on them coming back for another season, and hopefully things change. Um, I would have done a lot of things differently in the offseason, but that's why I'm just a
Yeah.
fan, not in the front office. But listen, I mean, I am very nervous. There is very high expectation, and they have to start on a high note. They can't start the season bad. Um, they got to play very well this season, and they got to make it to the playoffs, and we'll see what goes from there. But yeah, I am nervous, excited, and I'm very interested to see what happens throughout the season.
Last year of DeMar DeRozan under contract with the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White just recently signed a contract, a new one for the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, we're in year number 2, and Zach Levine's new contract. Vooch also got a new contract too as well. Another one that is looking for a contract that's kind of perked everybody's ears a little bit is Patrick Williams and the
Yep.
amount of money that he wants. Right, 200 mil for Patrick Williams, and let's be honest, he not even close. Right, not even close of getting him that type of money. But if he does have a career year, is it even worth bringing him back just because he's already on his last year of his contract and wants big money? Or do you just let him walk, or do you just resign it simply because that's what the Bulls do and just trying to keep the continuity together?
Yeah, I think if he has a really good season, I think the Bulls can go very far. I think a lot depends on this season on Patrick Williams. The good news is he is going to be a restricted free agent after the season and not unrestricted free agent, so the Bulls will have his rights. But yeah, I would love for him to be really good this season. I think he's a guy that can average 20 points per game, 10 rebounds. He can be a double double machine like Vooch, but he just has to show that every single game. And if he does, the Bulls are going to go far this season. So I would pay him. I don't know. He wants all this money right now. For me, right now, he's worth, I would say, $13 million a year right now.
Ooh.
Um, that's how I feel. I think that he has shown flashes, but he has not done that every single time. He has played pretty well, but I think he has to take that next step this season. And if he does, then the Bulls will also take that next step, and I would be more than happy to pay him. I don't know how much he wants a big contract, but we can negotiate. We can negotiate. Um, but I would be more than happy to pay him a lot more money than what I think he's worth right now if he's that next step this season.
But even if he has a career year, and you say 13 million for Patrick Williams, or 13 million a year for Patrick Williams, isn't that still? I mean, I get it. The market, that's how it is. That's how
Yeah.
it dictates. Blah blah blah. It all that behind it. But is it still even worth giving him even more than 10 mil simply because he has this one pop-up year because of a contract negotiation year, you're willing to give him that money?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I think it would be more for me. I look at it as kind of the same thing that happened with Kobe White last season. They couldn't agree on a deal, and he had a very good season, and now he got paid. Um, and I think for me, the Bulls have shown that they are willing to pay players that step up, and that's why they haven't paid Patrick Williams the money that he wants right now because he hasn't stepped up. I think you have to look at it as no matter what happens this offseason, you're going to have to pay DeMar DeRozan. If not, he's leaving. You're going to have to pay Patrick Williams. If not, he's leaving. You have to look at what's going to happen with Alex Caruso because his contract is coming up. And you have to make a decision on him. You want him to stay. If you want him to stay, you're going to have to sign him to a contract extension. So they are going to have flexibility, but how much flexibility, it depends on what's going to happen with Patrick Williams and a bunch of other players. But like I said, I would be more than happy to pay him not as much money as he wants right now. Like I said, we can negotiate. But if he has a really good season, that'd be perfect for us.
Daniel Greenberg here on the JCA Sports Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can follow Greeny on Twitter or X under Shy Sport Update. And also, he's also known as Chicago's agitator, as one broadcaster, sports broadcaster, and one of the radio stations here likes to call him, which was funny, by the way. I actually heard that day.
I love that.
I'm just like, my boy Greeny, look at him making noise out of the negativity from one of the radio stations over here.
You know what they say when those people say that, they're just fans, so it's all good. Hateful comments, they're fans.
I love it, Greeny.
It's all good.
Don't ever change, man. Don't change. But again, I love to give you these hypothetical questions because at least it gives you something to talk about, right?
Yep.
And like you just mentioned, the current Bulls contract situation that they have right now at the moment. What's more likely to happen, Greeny? Is it the Bulls blowing it up or the Bulls making it into the play-in game once again / playoffs? Like, which one's more likely to happen?
I think it's more of the play-in tournament or the mid-season tournament. If they win the mid-season, because the mid-season, it's a new thing this season, and I think it'll be very fascinating because they kind of want it to be like how they have it in soccer, like the Champions League, the Europa League. So it'll be very interesting to see if the players buy into that. But I think what's more likely going to happen is them playoffs, I think, more than blowing it out. That's why I said the first 15, 20 games of the season, they can't just go into games thinking that they're going to win it. They got to earn it. It's a tough schedule, but it's going to be huge for them and a confidence booster if they start the season very well.
You're just very optimistic about the Chicago Bulls team, man. I wish
and nervous.
Nervous, more. But I wish I had that optimism. I wish I had that type of excitement because, I mean, I've been dogging this team for about a season and a half already. I saw no improvement, but I mean, maybe like you said, maybe a hot start can maybe change my mind a little bit, but it has to be consistently coming from this Bulls team, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I see more of a blow up than I do play-in or playoffs. I really do.
I think if they do decide to blow it up, and I like I said, I hope that doesn't happen. I think you have to look at also the coaching staff and the front office, because their offseason message all year was, hey, we're bringing these guys back. It's going to work. It's going to work. We have a better chemistry, all this stuff. Like I said, I would have done things differently in the offseason, but they're relying on bringing guys back, and hopefully this helps. But if not only you should look at the players, but also the coaching staff and the front office, because the coaching staff, they haven't made a change to any of their coaching staff in the last 3 years. So you got to look at that too.
Man, we want to keep it positive, especially for our sports teams, but they make it hard, man. They really do. They really do. And I'm guessing too, bringing back to the Bears, I'm guessing you're on that Justin Fields is QB1 and just build within, or are you also on the Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes?
Yeah, I think that's just the people talk about the draft right now. First of all, the draft, it's way too early for me about the draft. I look at it literally 3 weeks before the NFL Combine. That's how I am right now. Like when the season's going on, I am focused about the season. Um,
Mm.
like I said, I think Justin Fields is a really good quarterback and a guy that can lead the team to a Super Bowl, but it all depends on the players and the coaching staff they have around. For example, I am not a fan of Luke Getsy. I think Luke Getsy has committed a lot of crimes this season during games. And I think he is a lot of these games that they have played this season. Luke Getsy should be the one that should be blamed. Like if it was up to me, he would not be a part of the coaching staff right now. I just think that he has done a horrible job. I think they have the right players around him, Justin Fields, right now. I think the talent on this roster overall, for me, is an 8 to 9 win team. I think there is plenty of talent on this team. You just got to have the right coaching staff around them. I mean, the whole situation with Allen Williams, all this, like he left out of nowhere. Matt
Yep.
Eberflus had to catch up. So there's a lot of stuff that has happened that I think is just unfair to judge the players right now.
100%. And even with Matt Eberflus, as of recent, that defense has been playing better. A lot of defensive
Mm-hmm.
players, starters are coming back. That's making the defense a tad bit more better. And like you said, Matt Eberflus may not be here at the end of the year, but for damn sure he's making sure that he still stays in the NFL and keeping this defense as tight and as secure as possibly be. That way he's not, left alone or out of the league for a period amount of time. He's coaching for a position for a job next season, whether if it's with the Chicago Bears or with another team as a coordinator. But I mean, you're right. This coaching staff, I don't think it doesn't matter if you, like you said, 8 or 9 wins. Hell, I don't even think if they win 2 more games, 3 more games on top of that, I don't think this coaching staff lasts the year. Hell, maybe even last the season. But that's just
Yeah.
me personally. One last thing, I know you mentioned playoffs are playing for the Chicago Bulls. How many wins do you see the Chicago Bulls at the end of the season, Greeny?
I think they'll be in the high 40s.
Oh, damn, Greeny,
Uh,
you really are optimistic about them, huh?
I just think for me, it's more of it really all depends on how the first 15 games go. The
Okay,
first 15, they have a very tough schedule, the first 15 games. And if they come out of those 15 games with a winning record, I think they have a very solid chance of making it competitive. They have to show up this season. I mean, for me, I look at Zach Levine. He is one of the biggest players. And when I talk about I would have done things differently in the offseason, if it was up to me, he would not be on the Bulls right now.
my
Um,
guy.
he's a guy that you get that max deal, you better be showing up every night. And last season, he did not do that. So this is a big season for him. But I think that
Facts.
with the right players, I like Billy Donovan. I think he's a really good coach. But like I said, I think they'll be competitive. And the East is pretty weak for me. The West is where it is. The Western Conference is loaded. The Western Conference. I mean, thank God we don't play in the Western Conference because
For
if we
real.
if we did, we would not be good at all. But the East for me, I know there's like 3 or 4 teams, but the rest, I mean, it's pretty wide open for me. So I think the East they can make it just because of how weak the conference is.
Even with a weak conference, the same team that's showing up this season, it was the same team from last season, and we struggled
You're right.
in a very weak
Yep.
conference too as well. So we will see, man. Greeny, outside of Twitter, where else can they follow you, man?
Yeah, I mean Instagram, Twitter. Like I said, Twitter is my number one thing. So Daniel Greenberg, Shy Sport updates. I still call it Twitter. Probably will always call it Twitter. Um,
Me too, bro. Me too.
yeah. But yeah, I mean Twitter is the best place for that.
Chicago sports agitator Daniel Greenberg here with you. We're here with us on the JCA Sports Podcast, man. I'm gonna use that. You know what? I'm gonna use an open. I'm trying to find that, and I'm just gonna make an open for you the next time you arrive on the show, saying the Chicago sports agitator, bro.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I mean, it
Thank
was
you.
good talking to you. It was good seeing you, man. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely.
You're doing good. You're doing great. I follow you. I comment every once in a while on your stuff, man, and you're doing big things, man. From where we started to where we're at right now, man. It's only going up from here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye bye.
Yep. That was my boy Daniel Greenberg. Like we take it way back, way back when we started IMS having the Ivy Line Greeny show on a weekly basis. at IMS, and we had our friendly debates, and that's how he is. He's a very optimistic person. He's a very like he's a half glass full type of guy. I'm more of kind. I try to be. I'm not gonna lie. I do try to be that type of guy, but um, yeah, he sees it more, but he's very strict, and like you said, he's nervous. He's nervous about the Bulls, as he should be. He's a little bit more optimistic. He says mid to high 40s as win total for the Chicago Bulls. And for the Bears, I mean, he the coaching staff. I think that we're all in agreement on this one. The coaching staff hasn't been good for majority of the season so far. But I mean, at least Eberflus is getting the defense on the right on track. As the defensive coordinator and the head coach, and also he's been doing an amazing job at keeping it somewhat afloat, depending on how the season started with Allen Williams, like he just said. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Conavi Facebook page and the JCA Sports page, and also under the Star 6 Media Production. Guys, the link is on the comment section in the bio if you guys want to join us. We just had Daniel Greenberg. You can follow him at Twitter at Shy Sports Update. Great guy. He knows his stuff. He follows, and like I said, he's doubted as Chicago's sports agitator. So take that however you want to take it. But we're continuing the Bears conversation with you guys. I want to know what you guys think. How do you guys feel about Tyson Bagent? What do you guys expect from him on the national stage now that they're going to play on Sunday Night Football with the Chargers? You know, Greeny wants to see a little bit something different, a little bit more, expand the playbook. I do want to see that too as well. I think we're all wanting to see that, right? Hopefully that the running game still picks up from where they left off last week. That would really help out the game. But if that does happen, right? If the running game does, go on and have that type of game, I don't think we're going to see Tyson Bagent go down the field a little bit more that we want to. I don't think we're going to see Tyson Bagent force his passing up front. I think it would be nice to see every once in a while, but I think that what they want to do is they just want to coddle this guy just a little bit, that he won't make mistakes, just game manage and do the best he can. But to be honest with you, what I saw from Tyson Bagent that I haven't seen in Justin Fields and maybe at all, probably for a little bit, is Tyson knows what he's doing in the pocket. He looks at 1, 2, 3. He looks at all his reads before he decides to make a decision. And I think that's the one thing that we wanted to see from Justin Fields, but it still hasn't came out from him yet, or it still hasn't come out of him yet, and that's one thing that we want, and that's one thing that we expected from Justin Fields. I wanted that from Justin Fields. I still want that from Justin Fields. Like he says, Justin Fields is generational talent. That's what Greeny said. Those were his words. But Justin Fields can be that guy. I feel he could be maybe not generational, but definitely for sure a franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears, could taking us to the next level. And the next level is just playoffs. I mean, I know a lot of people want Super Bowl. I know a lot of people want the success right away, but I know the saying gets played out a lot, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Definitely this organization that's been ran ass backwards. Like Tony said last week, a couple weeks ago, that he's been a fan since I'm not going to mention the year, but he's been a fan for a very long time. And he said he's been seeing this for years, right? At least he has a Super Bowl to see it. But in my lifetime that I've been a Chicago Bears fan, I've seen this team being ran ass backwards, right? Greeny says that Justin Fields is a generational talent. I'd say he has potential to be a franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I really want that to happen. I don't want to see the Chicago Bears go back again for another rebuild, go for another quarterback, a quarterback that a lot of people are still comparing him to Justin Fields, in which if it's that same comp, keep Justin Fields, man. He already has the NFL experience. You want to go back to a rookie. Like I don't want to rebuild this again, but you build around Justin Fields the best you can. I say you build within, you build with the trenches, you build in the trenches. We need defensive linemen. We need one more offensive lineman to help out this O line. It's not a bad O line. We just don't have a decent center. Yes, there's injuries, and injuries are going to occur. And yes, you want depth at the end of the day, but the Bears' offensive line has been playing pretty decent for the last 6-7 weeks that we've had so far in the NFL season. Majority of the time, out of the 7 games that we have played, 5 games, 6, whatever amount of games we have played, the Bears' offensive line has been good for 4 of them. So it's really not a lot that the Bears need. I mean, it's a lot that the Bears still need in the trenches on offense and defensive line, but it's a little bit more of a tweak than a whole lot of fixing on the defensive side of the ball. So Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., To me, it doesn't make any sense. Greeny said he doesn't look at it until 3 weeks before the NFL Combine. That's cool. I mean, hey, that's how he wants to look at things. I mean, I see it towards the tail end of the season. I'm like, all right, let's see what we got. Once the Bears are already eliminated from playoff contention and we're already in December by Christmas, instead of me hoping and wanting to see the Bears by my birthday weekend and John's birthday weekend too as well, because we're only a day apart. But my only gift from the Chicago Bears is just play on my birthday weekend, whether if it's on my birthday, the day before, the day after. I really don't give a rat's ass. Just play on my birthday because that's playoff football. That's all I ask. That's all I want. I don't. And then eventually I'll get a Super Bowl, maybe a Super Bowl appearance. Maybe eventually I'll get an NFC title game appearance. Maybe I'll see that. Maybe I'll see a few things that I haven't seen or won't I haven't seen in a while. But for damn sure, all I want, I don't think I'm asking for too much, is just play an extra week, play an extra 2 weeks to make it to my birthday. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I don't think I'm asking for too much. But the way how the Bears has been running or has been ran, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. So back on the question, what do I expect from Bajan? I expect him to do the same thing, but with a little bit more. I expect him to run this offense accordingly. I expect him to have a little bit more passing offense, passing yards, maybe an extra touchdown or two. But that's what I'm expecting from Tyson Bajan for this game, not just only for us, for the local market, but also for the national market too as well. I want the Bears to succeed no matter who the quarterback is, no matter if it's Justin Fields or Tyson Bajan, no matter if it's Jay Cutler or Mike Glennon, for all I care. I don't care. Whatever quarterback it is, I don't care. Brian Hoyer, for all I care. All I want is the Bears to be ran like a offense is supposed to be ran. And I got that a little bit on Sunday, but now I want a little bit more from him. I want Tyson Bagent to make the quarterback conversation a little bit more uncomfortable for Justin Fields to be like, hey, bro, like, yes, you're not our guy. Yes, this is our guy. Do we draft him? No. But we wanted him for a reason. This is the reason why we want him. So if you don't pick up your game, you're more than likely going to sit behind an undrafted rookie for the rest of the season, and we're going to be Audi 5,000 on you at the end of the year. But Justin still needs to play to at least pick up his draft stock some way, somehow. Justin Fields, no matter what, whenever he's 100% healthy, Justin Fields is QB1. I don't care what anybody says. If Tyson Bagent balls out, the only way Bagent keeps his job if he balls out. If he goes for 300, 200, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, or whatever the case may be, that's the only way Bagent can keep doing his job, and he does it consistently. That's it. I don't think that's even hard to even imagine, because at the end of the day, that could possibly lead to more Bears victory. And I know most of you people or most of the fans out there are going to say, but we need the draft picks, we need the draft capital, we need this, we need the Bears to lose so we can have 2 top 5 picks, 2 top 3 picks, the number 1 and the number 2 pick. As long as I have we're guaranteed a top 3 pick. The Panthers suck. The Panthers might give us the number 1 pick. The Panthers might give us the number 2 pick. I'm okay with having 2 picks in the top 10. But I just want the Bears to be somewhat looking competent. No matter if we win or lose, I just want the Bears to be competent at the end of the day as a somewhat of a well-ran offensive team. That's all I ask. That's all I want. So I want Tyson Bagent to take it to the next level. I want Tyson Bagent to see if he could throw it down the field. When he came in, when we lost against who was it where we got hurt? Was it the Minnesota game where Justin Fields looked? I think it was Minnesota. He threw one ball down there, but at that point he threw it off his back foot. The wind against him, like that ball just looked like a dud in the air. It looked like a duck. I know John on the comments or on the text chain here, he said to us like he had a noodle. I don't think so. That ball traveled for a good 30, almost a good 30 yards, maybe 40. But we need to see that in a consistent basis from Tyson Bagent. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, are you more confident that the Bears to win consecutive games than the previous time, right? The Bears coming off a big win against the Commanders, offensively they're good. They put up 40 points, right? And then they had a dud against Minnesota, right? This past weekend against the Raiders team that didn't look good defensively. The Bears looked like they just outplayed them pretty well, outran them for sure. had a better game plan than the Raiders. Are you more confident this week leading into the game against the Chargers on the Sunday night game than you were against the Minnesota Vikings on an afternoon kick here at home? Um, like I mentioned to Greeny, I'm on a sports high, right? My Arsenal came back down 2-0, tying 2-2. America looked like they were playing a game here in Glaza, going back and forth, winning 4-3, right? And then the next day, I had the Bears coming up, winning convincingly against the Las Vegas Raiders. Like to me, that was a sports high that all three of my teams won for the first time in such a long time that I can't even remember. I mean, probably like 2 weeks ago, to be honest with you. But even then, so like the way that they did in convincing fashion, right? And then my boys yesterday won in the Champions League in their group game against Sevilla in a tough road game. So I'm at an all-time high. But so I'm more confident around this time about the Bears leading back-to-back victories than I did the last time around. And that's hard to say because that happened the same thing a couple weeks ago too as well. That both of my soccer teams and the Bears won on the same weekend for the first time in over a year. But this time it's Tyson Bagent as my quarterback, not Justin Fields. But I like what I saw from Bagent. I like what I saw from the offense. I hope it carries on over. I hope it moves them to have consecutive games, and it also makes this conversation about Justin Fields a little bit more uncomfortable, whether if he is QB1, because that means Tyson Bagent is doing his job, and Tyson Bagent is being known whether to be a better backup or backup at the best, or actually have the potential to be an NFL starter in this league. Like I'm happy with that. I'll be okay with that if Bagent comes up and and proves to the national world that this guy can legit play in the NFL. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Conavi Facebook page, and also the JCA Sports on all our social media platforms. And also, we are live on YouTube under the Star Six Media Productions. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms under the Star Six Media Productions on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also on TikTok as we provide you guys with sports content on the daily. Um, you guys missed my interview with Greeny. I will post out that interview a little later on our social media platforms, so keep it on the lookout for that. It was a great conversation. We talked it up, talked up shop. I appreciate him coming on. Like I said, me and him, we go way, way back. So again, like I've been mentioning, if Bajan plays well for another game, do you ride the hot hand? I'm a big believer if you are riding high, if the hot hand is giving you W's or it's giving you performances, I say you ride it until it cools down, right? Like I said, Justin Fields is QB1, but remember the hand that he injured was his throwing hand. That's the one that you need the most of the grip from. So I say, like, you until Justin Fields is 100% healthy, and I know the next week after the Chargers games is a very difficult road game against the New Orleans Saints. I, I- you know, I'd rather have 100% Justin Fields than a 90% Justin Fields, because I'd rather have 100% Tyson Bagent over a 90% Justin Fields. And some of you may say a 90% Justin Fields is better than 100% Tyson Bagent. Possibly you're right. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're right. But I'm also not gonna. I'd rather have people be at 100 than anything below 100, unless if it's 99 or 98. But anything below that, give me the guy that's close to 100 than the guy that's not. You ride the hot hand until it's not hot anymore. Don't worry, Justin Fields is still QB1, but ride the hot hand. Ride Tyson Bagent, because what's the next week I'm going to say? If he performs well against the Chargers, let him face adversity. You're not going to get any more better than the Superdome in New Orleans against a top 10 defense in the New Orleans Saints. And then just maybe you'll get another glimpse of Tyson Bagent and probably checking off something off the checklist that the Bears want to see, or maybe that he can be an NFL starter in this league. That maybe his potential of trading up or trading him away, his stock can go up, or maybe you say bye bye to Justin Fields. But I want to see a few things from Tyson Bagent. He controlled the game on Sunday. I want him to push the ball this Sunday. And then if he plays well and deserves another start for the following week, let him face adversity, because it will be a good team to face adversity on the New Orleans defense down in New Orleans. Trust me, it's going to be a tough one. But to be honest with you, I rather see if Bagent can be that guy to step up to the plate and hit a screaming triple or hit a home run, even though we're talking football. But I'd rather for him to perform at his best and to be that guy for the future for the Chicago Bears or for any other team that he could be possibly paying for in the near future. And guess what? Him playing well, he can get the bag. He get more money as a backup in the NFL, or maybe potentially as a starter in the NFL. He can. But again, 100% Justin Field, a healthy Justin Fields is a better than 100% Tyson Bagent in my eyes. In my eyes, that's 100%. That he is that guy. He is going to be, he's the Bears QB1. He is the Bears QB1. But until proven otherwise, it's Tyson Bagent's team until Justin Fields gets healthy. So we'll see. Green was on earlier, and we talked about the Chicago Bulls. He's a little bit excited. He's a little bit more optimistic than I am. He's nervous. As rightfully he should be. I'm not. Like I told him before, I already seen this team for about a year and a half. I already know what this Chicago Bulls team is, and the Chicago Bulls team is definitely not a playoff team. It's definitely not. And then I sometimes it gets great. You don't see eye to eye, but this team is not a playoff team. This team is not even a playing team. I saw the roster this morning on Twitter, and it said the Bulls opening roster. You know, when I put in that comment, when I posted on Twitter, I put this looks like a 35 to 38 team, a win team at best. At best, 35 to 38 with this roster, if this roster lasts the whole entire year. I told Greeny what's more than likely to happen, right? I mean, are you excited? I'll ask that question for you guys later, but are you guys even excited? I'm not. I'm not excited. If you guys are excited about Bulls basketball like Greeny and being optimistic, I mean, that's on you guys. And rightfully so. You know, we want to see good basketball. I haven't seen good basketball in such a long time. And I remember the days that I got excited for Bulls basketball. We had it a couple of times here on the show where Jose and I were ecstatic about the Chicago Bulls in the state that they were, and John was being a negative Nancy on the show. It's not going to bring us a championship. I don't care about a freaking championship. I don't care about a championship. I don't. What I wanted the Chicago Bulls at that time was just to bring back the Chicago Bulls, make them a formidable team, make them a team to be like, oh damn, this is the relevancy of the Chicago Bulls. Like I want that to be back in Chicago, and I got that for like about 4 months, 3-4 months, and then after that it was all kaput, and it was kaput from then on out. January 28th of 2022 was the last time the Chicago Bulls. I was happy with the Chicago Bulls team. And mind you, that was the that was when what's his name? When Lonzo Ball got hurt. That was when Lonzo Ball got hurt. And the moment that he got hurt, all aspirations of the Chicago Bulls of being something in this league just evaporated. And who knew it? All it took was just an injury. You know, at halftime right now, I'm on it right now on Twitter. And halftime, the Bulls are down 61-55 against a young Oklahoma Thunder team. So again, put that into my perspective of what I just said, of what I wanted this team to be. This team is not going anywhere, guys. And the question of the night for the Chicago Bulls is this: the question of the night, what do you see the Chicago Bulls? What do you see? Or do you see them as a playoff team, or you see them blowing it up? I see this Bulls team as closer to blowing it up than I do a playing team. A playing team. The position that they were last year. The team that was just 5 minutes away of eliminating the team that went to the NBA Finals last year in the Miami Heat to elimination. That same team, I see it more of them blowing it up than I do seeing them in the playoffs. I do. I do. I have no hope for this team. I have nothing for this team. I think this team was a bunch of, well, I can't say a bunch. I think it's one bad contract on the reason why they're not that good. Y'all know who it is. You guys know. You guys seen us so many times, or mentioned, or saw our show so many times on how I feel or what I feel about a certain player on this Bulls team. I'm not going to mention that name. You guys already know. a waste of money. But I'm not excited. It's the same team. It's the same crap that I saw last season ending that's starting again this season. Greeny again, I love him. He very optimistic. Sees it a glass half full. Hell, he's probably seen a glass 3/4 full at this point, right? Greeny said that the Bulls are a mid 40 to high 40 basketball win team. Shoot, mid 30s for me. Mid 30s for me for the Chicago Bulls and winning. They're losing right now 55 to 61 to a young Oklahoma City Thunder team. This is what I'm trying to see on a team that supposedly has all these veterans, all these good players, all these talent, all these all stars, and yet it's the same malarkey I'm not even watching the game. I'm just seeing the highlights right here, and it's just kind of like it's the same nonsense that I saw for the last season and a half. To me, I see nothing from the Chicago Bulls. They're gonna blow it up. They need to blow it up. DeMar DeRozan's on his last year of his contract. You just signed Vooch for like a 2 or 3 year deal. You just signed Kobe White for another, well, I think it was like 2 or 3 year deal. You're stuck with Zach LaVine for another 4. Patrick Williams, I had so much high hope and expectations for Patrick Williams that this guy's talking about a $200 million contract for him to resign for the Chicago Bulls. My guy to me is barely worth $5 million, let alone $200 million. And I get the market dictates this and that, and he's not going to get. I know he's not going to get $5 million. He's probably going to get more than that. Double, maybe even triple, right? Depending on what they say. The Green said he's a $13 million player or $13 million a year type of player. That's expensive for a Patrick Williams that hasn't shown anything for the Chicago Bulls, and I was the one that was hyping him up the most last season. My guy could barely shoot a bucket. And yes, he could train all the offseason all he can with DeMar DeRozan and improve around this game, and you guys can hype him up and talk him up all of. I want to see it on the court. I want to see it on the court. I want to see it game in and game out. And I get it. You're going to have a clunker here and there. It's 82 games in the NBA season. I get that. I'm not expecting perfection for 82 games. And then on top of that, another 16 games, whatever the case may, however many games you play in the playoffs. I'm not expecting all of that. But damn, man, I'm expecting at least something. Flirt around with a double-double, 13, 14 points here and there. Flirt around with 9 rebounds here and there. My guy barely has 6 points right now at halftime. DeRozan leads the team with 10. Everybody else is in single digits. Everybody else is in single digits. And I get it's only game one of the first season of the NBA season. I get that. I know that. But it's the same freaking roster from last year. So what else do you need from me? What else do you want from me? What else do I need to see? What else do I need to be proven wrong? Like anybody tell me, somebody tell me what needs for me to be I need to be proven wrong by these guys that these guys can play together. I need to be proven wrong that these guys can be a 40 some odd win team like Greeny said. I do. I do. But in all honesty, I already know what this team is. This team is booty cheeks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls that have been watching me today and watched the interview with Greeny. Team is booty cheeks. That's gonna be on Twitter, on TikTok later. To me, the Chicago Bulls are booty cheeks, and they've been booty cheeks for the last year and a half. They're not going anywhere. This team, to me, mid 30 win team. That's it. That's all. It's not gonna go any better for the Chicago Bulls this year. Like I said, I see them more blowing this team up than this team making the playoffs or the play-in game, let alone the playoffs. That's how I see it. Prove me wrong, Bulls. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, LaVine. Prove me wrong, DeRozan, Billy Donovan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. A guy that is a nobody trying to make a name for himself is not even excited for the first game of the NBA season. because you guys never gave me something to be excited about for the past season and a half. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. Like I said, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of it under the Star 6 Media Productions. Guys, my prediction for this week for the Chicago Bears, give me the Bears with a dub. I think the Bears are going to win it this week. The Chargers, it's going to be another home game for the Chicago Bears, just like it is for any other team that goes to that stadium in Los Angeles. The the Rams and also the Chargers play road games every single game this season. There's no true fan base out there. Chicago Bears fans travel very well, and they're going to go to the stadium, and you're going to hear a lot of Bear fans just supporting this team. And it feels like it's going to be what the future may look like in a domed stadium for the Chicago Bears out in LA on Sunday Night Football. But give me the Bears. Give me the Bears. Ooh, what's a good score? 24-21. I gotta give credit where credit's due. I think the Chargers do have talent. I think the head coach of the Chargers may be as worse as our head coach here in Chicago, and that says a lot. Yes, Justin Herbert's a great talent, but I think this is another team that's being held back by their coaching staff and injuries. I throughout my draft, this whole fantasy football draft, I avoided every Chargers player possible. The only player that I trust in that organization or on that team is Justin Herbert, and that's just barely. But it's a team, nonetheless, that just needs a new facelift. They need a new head coach. They need somebody that just gives them a different direction in how to play a football game. With that being said, give me the Chicago Bears 24-21. Oh, man, that's the optimism in me. I am excited about the Chicago Bears. Sunday Night Football, NBC. The only game national eye is going to be on Tyson Bagent. I hope he succeeds, because if he succeeds, that means the Bears succeeds. If the Bears succeeds, that means the Bears are going to win. And if the Bears win, that means we're off. We're excited, and now we have a conversation to have next Sunday on the JCA Sports Podcast, and also on Big League Chicago on Monday about our quarterback situation. If I do see a very, very good performance from Tyson Bagent, even though I didn't switch the banner, but it's all good. It's all good. We know what the hell we were talking about, guys. That's it. That's the show. Thank you to Greeny. A million thank yous to Greeny for hopping on the show today. Interviewed him. It went great. That will be on our social media posts. That conversation with me and Greeny in the upcoming days. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, and also hit the little bell on our Facebook pages, on the John Conavi Facebook page, and also the Star 6 Media page too as well. Hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live. And that way you guys can always like and share and love, like most of the time. Like I said, I appreciate Greeny hopping on. Hopefully next week I bring you guys with another guest too as well to talk up shop about our beloved Chicago sports teams. Other than that, I am Eric Avila. This has been a pleasure, guys. You listen and watch the JCA Sports Podcast here on the John Conavi Facebook page. We will see you guys on Monday in Big League Chicago, hopefully with another Bears win, make it 2 in a row. And then we'll see if we have a quarterback controversy or not. The JCA Sports Podcast, guys. I'll see you guys later.